Hi, how's it going? How's it going? Yes, welcome, welcome. It is a Thursday, and what time is it? It is for time for Pass It On. Yeah. How's it guys going? It is great having you around in the room. And I just want to find out from you right now where you are watching me from. That's the first thing in the chat, wherever you're watching us from. Just let me know where you're watching me from. And as it is on a Thursday like this one, it is called Pass It On. And I come out and we talk about you. We talk about your deals. We talk about what's happening in your life. Thursday is for us to just do a quickly catch up. So, yeah, it is at M5 Property Addicts Thursday, Pass It On. Why do I do these Pass It Ons? Somewhere out there a couple of years ago, I had someone else who was teaching me how to do what I do, which is real estate. You all know me. My name is TJ Taurai Jack. And I've been doing property and I teach, I do property investments, and some of you invest with us and things like that. And out of that, basically, I have learned how to pass on the information, right? I've learned how to pass it on the information. But specifically tonight, ladies and gentlemen, specifically tonight, I want us to talk to about thy new book that I've got, which is called Not From Bad Debt to Property Mogul. This is thy new book. I've got a new book that's out, and the book is called Be the First Millionaire in Your Family. Have you gotten the book yet? And if you have, let me know in the chat there, right? What have you gotten out of it so far? Change the game. Anyone can become a millionaire. Change the game. Yeah. But before we jump onto my book, right, I just want to talk to you guys about being the first. And I speak about the millionaire here as a metaphor. I speak of the millionaire as the metaphor, right? But I just want us to see, we got a couple of people that have joined us. Hey, what's happening, guys that are from Mthatha, right? Durban, East London, yes, all right. Durban, again, Durban, again, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Soweto. All right, guys, it's great having you guys. Joburg South, we're in Joburg South. There's many places in Joburg South, right? And yeah, so thanks a lot for you for just telling me where you are watching us from. A lot of you are commenting on the side there. So thanks a lot. Thanks. A warm welcome to you. A warm welcome to you. Right. Right. I have managed to fix the electricity problems. Yes. I haven't been able to do this because we've been having a couple of, I don't think it is load shedding. It's just sabotage. Guys just want to sabotage us. So for the month of February and March, for the latter part of March, we'll be having problems with electricity. And coming out live had been such a mission because you don't know when it's going to happen. And it's one particular day, I think it was not the last one. The last PassITon that we did was at the beginning of the month, right? And the one before that, you all remember that I had a little bit of a candle and we were like passing it on in the candlelight. And yeah, we're trying to be romantic. Man. It was in the month of February. You remember? If you don't remember, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can check it out. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you guys about being the first. I do mean it. Being the first. So what does it mean being the first? Or let's answer the question to say, in your family today, right? What is a family? Family is number one, you have a mother and a father, and you've got you and your siblings, right? And the question that I want to ask of you guys is, what is it that you have been the first to do in your family? Were you that guy who was the first one to run a marathon to win? Were you that guy who was the first to cook an Asian dish? Were you the first one? What is it that you or in your family that you've been the first to be? Right? I just want to hear from you. Guys, there's someone else who's A couple of people that have joined in also. I see you guys, Centurion, Pretoria, Midrand, Pelandaba, okay, Gaborone, Ghana, Eswatini. Awesome, awesome. Great to having you guys all around. But the first question that I'm asking you guys is, before we start to talk about today's topic, which is obviously I want to cover the new book that I've got, which is Be the First Millionaire in Your Family. But I don't want you to think about the first. I don't want you to think about the millionaire part, right? I want you to just think about, what is it that you've been the first in your family, right? What is it that you've been the first in your family? Forget about the millionaire part. The millionaire is a metaphor in this conversation. The millionaire is a metaphor. I want to understand from you, what is it that you've been the first to? Have you been the first one to buy a car? Were you the first one to get twins? Were you I don't know. It's a discussion that we are having today. And I am going to be with you from now until all the way to 8:30. And we want to have a conversation. So someone here just hit me. Hey, TJ, I was the first person in my family to get a new car. Brand new car. Okay, cool. That's amazing. Hey, TJ, I'm an author just like you. I was the first one to be an author in my family. Okay, cool. Right? Hey, TJ, I was the first one to be what is it? I was the first one to own a property. That's deep. So, father and mother, probably they rented all their lives and you were the first one to own a property. Someone says, hey, I was the first one to be a graduate. Yeah, so you went to school. Daddy says, go to school, get the good grades, and become a graduate. And you became a graduate. Awesome, right? Someone says, hey, I am the only doctor in my family. That's cool. That's cool. So you're the first one and you still only are. Okay, cool. I'm the first one to have gotten cancer in my family. Yeah, that's something to you. Yeah. I'm the first one to have been married. I think they want to say that I'm the first one who's ever been married. So mother and father, you never married, and your brothers and sisters, none of them have been married, and you are this person here is the first one to be married, right? That's also deep. Someone says, I was the first one to buy 2 properties in a month. Oh, benchmark. Okay. Wow. All right. That's cool. Awesome. Awesome. I am the first one to have moved out of town from a very small town. Okay. So it looks like this guy here, they're saying that they were the first one to have ever leave their community. Probably they come from maybe it's a rural area or it's a very small town, and they're saying that they broke the cycle and got out. They broke the cycle and got out, right? There's about 120 of us that are watching here, and I'm asking the question to you: what is it that you have been the first in your family, right? What is it that you became the first to, right, in your family? And whilst we are talking about that, I want to give you guys a short story about me and my background. But basically, I am the only child between my parents. I am the only child between my parents. Why am I the only child? Because both my mother and my father, when they came together, they only had me as a child, and there was no any other child after that. So they kind of like came together and they went their own merry ways, and I became the only one. However, I do have many half brothers and sisters from my father and mother, from my father's side, and I've got many other brothers and half sisters from my mother as well. So I have many half brothers and sisters. Someone reprimanded me the other day, says, TJ, why do you call them half? They are half. That's what it says, right? So that's it, right? And out of that, I also want to share my story to say that being the first child, both my parents ran away. Both my parents ran away, and I was left actually to be looked after by someone else. And I realized that with this, as I was growing up, I actually don't have a backup in life if ever something is to go wrong. And I started now asking the question, how can I put food on the table for me? And I started asking the question, how can I also, I've learned a new word of late, fortify. Yeah, go and look it in the dictionary if you don't know what it means. So basically, I've learned also on how can I build what I'm building so that I can have a backup, right? So if you've got a job, you've got a job, but what else can you build in parallel of your job just in case the job stops? So if you have a job, I just want to ask of you, if you've got a job and that's your only income, I just want you to type in the job. If you have a job and that's your only income, I just want you to type in job. Someone says here, I want to start buying properties in Tembisa, but I'm scared because people have lost. How do I avoid the risk of scammers? I'm currently owning a flat in Pretoria CBD, and that's Ketepe. I think it is Ketepe. We'll come back to that question. By the way, you can ask me. Remember, this is PassITon. PassITon. You can ask me any question, and at round about quarter past of the to top of the hour, I'll answer all of your questions. Right, and it doesn't have to be the topic of today. Today we're talking about being the first. Right. Now, I want to speak of being the first, the dangers of being the first. Number one, I've told you where I come from, and where I come from, there is no path. So nobody has ever journeyed the journey that I'm on now. So I can look back and I can say, now I am married. I am the first in my family to be married because my parents never got married. Yeah. So I am the first, right? I am the first to hold a family together because both my parents couldn't do that, right? I am the first to actually have a business, and because both my parents have never done that. I am the first to even get a higher education because both of my parents never had that. So I can speak of many things that I've done, but I want to also say to you guys, when there is no path and you are the first one breaking the cycle of where you're going, it becomes extremely hard. But I want to say to you that it can also become very easy. How does it become easy? Right. I have written this book, Be the First Millionaire in Your Family, right? I've written this book and it can give you the path of where you want to go if being a millionaire is important to you. But I didn't write this book, ladies and gentlemen, for you to define yourself being a millionaire. No. I wanted to write this book, or should I say, I wrote this book when I was looking at myself when I was coming up, starting off in business. And I said to myself, how did I choose to be in real estate? Because there was no path at that time in my sphere of being in real estate. Had there been a path in real estate, I would have gone to ask Uncle so and so, or I would have gone to ask Dad to say, Dad, show me the path of real estate. But there was nobody. And because there was nobody, I do not want you to be in the same boat. That's why I wrote the book. I looked at my journey and I literally wrote the book with you and with me in mind when I was coming up, right at the beginning. And I said to myself, if properties was able to give me $1 million, how else can someone else who's out there follow the footsteps, especially if they're not coming from a family that has real estate, especially if they are coming from a family where money is not spoken about, especially if they're coming from a family where it is just strange for you to celebrate your wins. So how do you do that? And that's why I wrote this book. You can grab this book. It's for $197. It gets delivered to your doorstep. You can get it onto my website. I am going to post it out here where you can be able to get it. But before I go on to do that, right? Before I go on to do that for you, is I honestly want to make sure that as and when we are going along like this, I can be able to help you on your journey, right? And that's why I come out on Thursdays at this hour and I ask you to ask me the question. I'll come with a topic. Like today, I was asking the question, what have you become the first? So you know those pains. A lot of you says graduate and things like that. So when you were saying that you're going to study, people didn't get it. Like, what are you going to study? People didn't get it. It's the same thing when you're wanting to become a millionaire or when you're wanting to become something great in real estate. When you're spending time in doing something, people don't get it. Just like when you were wanting to be the first in all those other things that we spoke about. But I'm hoping that this has given you value to the fact that if you're not able to get it right on the doing part of you being the first, look back onto something else that you have already become the first to and try to see if you manage to do that. Clearly, this one also you can do it. Yeah. Right, I'm going to jump into a question. Someone here is asking the question, hey, TJ, what's happening? I want to start buying properties in Tembisa. So they want to buy properties specifically in Tembisa. But I am scared because people have lost. What have they lost? Lost money? Okay, lost opportunities? I don't know. How do I avoid the risk of scammers? I'm currently owning a flat in Pretoria, CBD. I want to help that person there. It's pretty easy. So if you're buying properties if you want to go and buy properties in Tembisa, so number one, utilize an estate agent. So it's good to utilize the estate agent. So I'm going to speak to the fact that you are wanting to be the first millionaire and buy properties in Tembisa, but you're scared of scammers, right? That's the thing. Right. You've already started in Pretoria. High five to you. Well done for starting. Okay. So use an estate agent, reputable estate agent, if there are any. That's number one. Or whenever you are making an offer on a property, always ask the question, are you the property owner? And if the answer is yes, then that's great. When you're doing the paperwork, put in an offer, and then go and utilize a conveyancer, a reputable conveyancer. And you can reach out to us. We can give you our conveyancers that we use. And with that, when the paperwork is being done, the conveyancers are able to see whether this paperwork is fake or not. So the bottom line is that don't ever, when you're buying properties, don't ever pay cash to the seller. I repeat again, don't ever pay cash to the seller. You need to have a middleman, and that middleman is called a conveyancer. They will do the paperwork for you. If it is a scam, then the conveyancer will be able to pick it up and they'll be able to protect you. Sometimes the seller will say that they will utilize their conveyancer. Sometimes you can negotiate to use your own. Or even sometimes you can utilize your own and their conveyancer. That way you're protecting your money. You're not sending money to their conveyancer, you're sending money to your conveyancer. Obviously, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but it is protecting you from the scammers that we are all worried about. Right. Now, someone else is asking the question. I don't know whether this is a question or it's a statement. First one to move out of the home at 17 years. Woohoo! Buy a car, buy a house, start a happy family while trying to bring up family. It's tough because you can't always celebrate your wins as expectations change. He's very right there. Right. So it is a Thursday. This is all about PassITon. And on PassITon, you can ask any questions. Someone else says here, hey, just came across your channel a few minutes ago. A few minutes ago, we've been around for a minute, man. Welcome. And they've watched 2 videos so far. Good tips and very motivational so far. New subscriber. High five to you and welcome. Right. Now, let me go on. There's another question here. Right. So, guys, remember this is PassITon, and PassITon, you can ask any question that you want to ask, whether it is related to the topic that we spoke about. Today, we're talking about being the first in your family. And we're saying that if you're finding it difficult to become the first millionaire, the first whatever, think back of the other first that you've been, how difficult it was, and you can sell through. Right. Someone here is asking the question, can you give us some tips or insights into securing finance for commercial property? What are your views on the commercial property market as an investment now? Okay, that's let me see it nicely. That's a cool question there, right? Yeah, so commercial properties, there's a number of ways in which you can do that, right? So when you're saying commercial properties, I'm going to jump onto what I know, which is blocks of flats. We traditionally call them that here. You see that I have ring fence the asset class, right? I'm going to speak to another asset class, which is also within the commercial space, but let me speak of, let's say, a block of flats. A block of flats, you can easily go and buy it like any other home. I have seen some banks looking at a block of flats, especially if it is sectionalized. They will look at it like any normal house. So they will give you a loan for each unit. Yep, I have seen that before, and it is the easiest way of funding a property, especially if it is sectionalized. What does it mean to be sectionalized? You got a block of 30 and each unit has its own deed, right? Or if it is a free holding, but it's a block of flats, that one there, it's got its own parameters in which you can also look for funding. The best way of looking for funding, especially on the commercial side, is that a lot of people want to send an offer to purchase to the bank. That's not a cool idea. Remember, the commercial, when the bank is funding commercially, so we did a project recently where we actually looked for money from a bank, and the bank, Standard Bank, eventually came through for us. And I remember when we were doing that proposal, now I'm talking of a proposal. What's a proposal? It's a separate document over and above the offer to purchase. And within that proposal, basically we spoke about who we are in the proposal. We spoke about the project itself. So we're giving insight of the actual project to the finance guys, right? And they could be able to see that. And eventually when they came to vet the property, everything that we had spoken about, they already had it. The risk associated with the properties, what we are going to be doing it, and that's called a business plan. It's a business plan, proposal business plan, right? So you can put that together. There's so many people out there, if you are buying commercial properties, that are willing to do that work for you, to put that document together and send it to the bank. And the person who is going to be vetting on that property on the other side, on the bank side, they can see exactly what you are talking about and how it can work. I hope that makes sense to you. So those are 2 tips that I've already given you on how you can fund commercial properties, which is a block of flats. Let's assume it's industrial. It is industrial. Or let's assume it is a medical center, right? Or let's assume it is a shopping mall. Now the same thing applies. Get a proposal together, a business plan, put it in front of the banker, and then they will be able to consider you, right? You got a follow-up question, and the follow-up question is, thank you, TJ. do banks consider the retail income when granting a loan for a block of flats? Would you need to qualify based on your income? It's a combination of the two, brother. Basically, look, some properties that blocks of flats, they could be 30 million, 10 million. Who qualifies for 10 million? Nobody qualifies for 10 million, right? So they obviously look at the current rental. In the commercial space, I also want to put a disclaimer. In the commercial space, banks looks at the viability of the project. Banks look at the viability of the project. Obviously, they also want to see your affordability, not your affordability per se, but your credit worthiness. That I hope that makes sense. All right, cool. I hope they helped you enough there. Right, let's jump on to someone else. Nobai. Nobai says, can you explain process on how to purchase an investment property on a brand new created company with no financial track record? Is that even possible? How will the bank proceed with such a case? Yeah, very much possible. We've done that a couple of times. You just need to have the right bond originator. And if you are not so sure or you do not have the right bond originator, you can drop us an email on hello@m5propertyvarsity, m5propertyvarsity.com. Okay, send us an email and I can refer you to our bond originator that can help you with that. So if it is a new company, someone needs to stand in surety on that. Nobody. So if you're employed and you've got an income, easy, the bank will be able to fund you. Right, I got 3 minutes to go. Right, let me answer another question. Ismail, how's it going, man? Good evening. I would like to know if I must fix my interest rates on my home loan. My interest rate is 8.35 now, and I inquired about it with my bank, and I was told that my indicated rate might be 11.5. Right, so the question there, Ismail, is which one makes financial sense for you? Obviously, the 8% makes sense, right? But as far as I remember, I used to be a banker before. As far as I remember, you can fix your interest rate for a period of time, not for a very long period, like 20 years. I think it's 5 years, if I remember very well. So just double check with your bank how long you can fix it. And if you can fix it and it's making financial sense for you, yeah, I'll do it, right? But also, what are you utilizing that property for? Is it for investment purposes? If it is for an investment purposes, yeah, of course, I'll do that because then I am making more money out of it. Isn't it? Makes sense. And with the making more money off it, what I would basically do is I would take that money and I will top it up onto that bond. Yeah. So I'm paying off now over and above that. So I'm hitting my capital. So I'm paying that off quickly. But I am not one of those people that want to pay off all the debt. I love debt. Debt is good. Debt can make you rich if you know how to use it. Right, next question. I am looking for consulting opportunities in the property flipping business. I don't know what that means, but keep on looking, brother. Keep on looking. Right. That's someone says just saying thanks, TJ. I appreciate your tips. Very valuable into okay, good stuff. Right. Let's see someone else. Question. I own my own home. So they've got a property, number one, that they own. I recently built and renting it out on my property. I want to start buying more, but not under my name. Could you kindly assist? Okay. So if I get this question correctly, this person here owns a property, which is cool. That's their own, and they are renting it out. And now they are asking the question, how best can they own another property because they want to buy more? Well, just buy more. Go out there and identify the one that you are looking for and run the numbers And if you don't know how to run the numbers, I suggest that you visit us at our education school, which is called the M5 Property Varsity. And with that, you can subscribe, right? And you can learn how. You can learn how you can become, to learn about running numbers. What do I mean by running numbers? So running numbers basically means that you have gone out there, you have seen a property. Within that property, you are able to identify that if you are to buy it at X price and all the other costs, but then you're able to rent it this much with all your other expenses, you are in positive or you're in negative, right? And that's what we call running numbers, right? It is a skill that you can acquire. At M5 Property Varsity, we've got a course that's called Fundamentals for you. So you can subscribe at 297. With that, you can then be able to jump onto a course which is called Property Fundamentals. It's virtually, you can start studying tonight. And with that, you can learn everything that you need to learn from there. Next weekend, you can go and identify a property and start applying everything else that you have learned. Hopefully, you're going to be buying a property that is cash flowing positively and it's giving you some money. All right. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Right. Let's go on to the next question. Someone says, hey TJ, you were cheeky to Bongani. No, I wasn't. Let's see what was Bongani saying. Bongani Maseko, yes. Bongani says, I am looking for consulting opportunities in the property flipping business. Yeah, so they're looking for opportunities. So great, yeah. I'm not being cheeky to Bongani, but yeah, I don't know what to say to Bongani. So your Bongani's question is not clear to me, right? So you're looking for opportunities. Yeah. Do you offer flips? Do you run numbers? Do you what consulting opportunities is it? So be a little bit clear there, Bongani. And someone says I'm being cheeky to you. So I apologize, Bongani, if I was being cheeky to you, brother. That's not what my intention was. Okay, GM says, when buying properties through the company, which document does the bond originator require or bank? Consult with the bond originator or consult with any bank that you want to ask money from. That is the best way to do it. If you ask me, I am going to tell you my own experience of the bank that you might not bank with. So approach that bank directly or approach a bond originator and ask them, how can you help me? Right. Okay, good stuff. Right, awesome. Tandy Kile, how's it going? Greetings, TJ, in South Africa. Who are the institutions of property investors for funding? Okay. Well, the normal banks can give you money. Those are the institutions. There is around about just above 80 financial service providers in South Africa that you can approach. And they all have their different criteria in terms of how you can work with them. Some of them, they may take equity in your business. Some of them, they'll just bank, give you a loan. There's many ways of doing it. All right, Isma, correct that so this one here is just a suggestion. Correct that fixing your interest rate is for 5 years and you should not fix now, as you will be paying 3.5 more. From now, interest rates are not expected to rise by that much in 5 years. We don't know what 5 years would look like, guys. But hey, you never know. I always say that the game of investing, I never try to give people advice around what you should do. You should know what you should do. And you need to be able to go out there and understand the economies. And when you understand, then you make the decision. right? And when you make the decision, then you live with the decision. When things change tomorrow, it's you are going to be the decision maker. You know that you made the decision. And if someone else made the decision for you, you're going to find what I call a scapegoat. And you're going to say, it was TJ who advised me. I should have never listened to him. The point here of us here is to give you the education so that you can be able to know what to do with your circumstance in mind, because we don't know what your circumstances are, right? And we try not to give any recommendations at all. I show you what I do, and I give you the enablements, and you can go out there and make the decisions based on your life circumstance. Hey, TJ, greetings, Cape Town Runs, like your name there, right? I have 200K lying around and looking to invest. Do you have any low risk opportunities that you could recommend? 100%. You can, there is multiple investment products that we've got. You can invest from as low as for your 200,000. You can invest on either on what we call our gold product, and our gold product gives you around about 15% per annum, right? It gives you 15% per annum. And we also have what we call the, what do we call that? The diamonds packages. You can earn anything from 18% and 20% per annum. And but these are on 5 years. Let me see if I can, if I can get to them. And basically, you can, I have just dropped you a link right in the bottom there, in the link, so that you can be able to see, those investment packages, right? And you can be able to see that, right? So let me go on here. So basically, these are some of the investments that we've got. I am talking about this particular one. So a minimum of 100,000 that you can invest, but you've got 200,000, you will earn 15% per year. It gets paid up on a yearly basis. So which means that your 200 comes in, it comes in and sits on this package here. Or it can go and sit into one of these two packages where you're earning an 18% per year, or you're earning a 20% per year. Right. I hope that makes some sense for you. Yeah, right. Good stuff. In the link, one of those links there, it says request a callback. Cape Town Rants. Once you figure out which option you are happy with, you can literally connect with us, and our relationship officers or relationship managers will give you a ring, and they will be able to help you and send you all the paperwork for the investments purposes. But tonight, I was talking about being the first millionaire in your life. If you haven't gotten my book yet, you can grab this book. And this book here, I did say, when I said I'm writing this book, I looked at my journey at the time, and I said to myself when I was coming up, had there been someone in my family who could show me the path, how would they have written this book? And that's exactly what I did. I wrote this book showing you the path on how you can do it. By the way, there are so many ways in which you can become a millionaire. Real estate is just one asset class. I give you some other tips. There's so many things that I've seen how people have become millionaires today. In this book, I show you as well modern millionaires. Some of my friends have become millionaires within the last 2 to 3 years with playing with other products other than real estate. So, like I wrote on my book, on my first chapter, I write about the glitter syndrome. That a lot of people don't become millionaires because they are trying that and that and that and that and that and that and that, trying a whole lot of things. So you're spreading yourself thin. The idea of why I wrote this book is to show you that you don't do that. Stick with the one thing that you want to do, and then just hammer it hard. It will come through. Right. Now, for some of you who have never been here before, we do this every Thursday. I come out live to you. The last time I was here was at the beginning of the month. In between the other Thursdays, we'll be having some challenges with electricity in our neighborhood, but I've sorted it out in my household. I was like, hey, if this thing is ever going to happen again, I've got backup. So I created my own backup in my own house, right? Yeah, almost went solar, right? Not really solar, but like halfway solar. So we've got it right. And this is all to make sure that I am live. I can come out to you. We can have the discussion. So like, share. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Why do I want you to share? It's called Pass It On. The information is pass it on. If you pass it on, not only me and you are getting this rich content, I am only giving you the rich content because you asked. So together, we're making the rich content and we can pass it on to others. They can also become knowledgeable. It is I, your boy, TJ. I will check you out on the next video.